Hey, this is David with No Chaser. And today I kind of have a little bit more of a heady sort of topic. It will seem probably maybe more philosophical in nature, maybe less kind of a direct or tangible topic of discussion. It's something that's been on my mind a lot. It's something that has crossed through my mind a lot through my whole journey, if you want to call it, of alcoholism and addiction and struggles with mental health. I mean, it's any sort of time that you do reflection about your life when things have gone wrong for a really long time. I think this is something that I would think comes up for most people. And this topic is about the idea of finding meaning in the struggle, primarily of addiction, of alcoholism, of just chemical dependency, like finding some sort of meaning in everything that you've gone through. And, you know, it would be easier if you were in a place like right now, whoever I'm speaking to, if you're in a place where you've had long-term sobriety and you're still on that path, where you can look back and, you can see all the mistakes you made, all the consequences you face, all the hurt you've done to others and to yourself. But because you are better, I assume now that you're sober or clean, that you can consider it a process of growth. There's something I hear a lot at AA meetings, which I understand in concept, but I still think is kind of crazy. And people will say they are a grateful alcoholic. A grateful alcoholic. Maybe they do this in Narcotics Anonymous meetings too, a grateful addict. I don't really know, but I've heard that before, a grateful alcoholic. And kind of the idea behind that is that the journey that they've traveled through all the hardships of struggling with drinking and all the rock bottoms and hopeless moments, it has all been a part of a path that has eventually made them become a better person. And that in this way, it was all worth it, and they are grateful for this experience. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you got drunk and wrecked someone else's car, that they're maybe not grateful that you're an alcoholic, or if there was an entire marriage that was thrown away, probably your ex-wife isn't grateful that you're an alcoholic. And I'm sorry for being facetious, but this is something I struggle with. And so that was from the kind of the viewpoint of if you're in a really really good place in your sobriety or recovery, or if you've turned your life around. And this idea of finding meaning from the hardships, the struggles, is, at least for me, is particularly difficult if you've relapsed, if you have just not found your way fully. And it's kind of weird to talk about just these like very staunch, like turn your life around or you finally found your way, because a big idea behind addiction and alcoholism is that it never ends. So you may have it turned around today, but tomorrow, if you use or if you drink, you'll be right back to where you were. So I mean, there's not even a sense of like permanence to kind of the success or the fruits of your labor from all the hardship that you faced. And like I said, if you feel like you just haven't gotten this thing right, or you were on the way and then you fell off, it becomes harder to see meaning. And meaning, that may seem like such a grandiose term, but I think it's really important that you can look back on experiences that you've had and at least, think that you've learned something from them. I'll give you an example of something that I could chalk up to, like, that was a big fucking waste of my time and my emotions and experience and blah, 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 blah. I was in a relationship for nearly 8 years that ended. And we didn't have any, children, so I mean it's just us, and we're gonna go the full 9 yards of marriage and all that type of stuff. We planned to be with each other for the rest of our lives, and it just ended. And it ended ugly because it ended slowly. Because we just could not, end it. It had to die a very long, slow Val Kilmer and, the Magnificent Seven from tuberculosis or whatever sort of death. And there's something where I can look back at the relationship. I can look back at the good times, and I can be sad that the good times are gone. But there's something in my mind that, like, I still know that it has informed me as a person. For whatever awaits me from this point on in my life, I'm changed because of the relationship with that person, and I've gained knowledge on some things. Now, sometimes it could be seen as cynical, as well, I found out that there can be people that you think are one way, and just over time they can turn into total strangers, or you can actually start to get bad meaning from it. Like, you can develop like trust issues. There's a lot of ways that you can take it, but there's something there that you feel like it can be useful. There's some sort of experience that you have that you can apply to your life, hopefully, in the future, that it means something. There's an old Native American saying where there is no such thing as bad days, there are only learning days. Here's my point about this. In addiction, in alcoholism, if you're not at a point where you've found like prolonged sobriety, it feels like there are just bad days. Because one thing about addiction is that it is so just making the same mistakes over and over again. That's one thing that's so painful about the whole experience of active alcoholism or addiction, is that it's looking at these same consequences that only get worse over and over again, and going, I know what the answer is. I know what's supposed to be done. I just can't do it. I'm not learning anything here. I just keep fucking up in the exact same way. Like, what is the shit? What is the point of this? Like, when you hit a rock bottom and you go, oh my God, this is terrible, but you know what? I'm glad it happened because it kind of shook my world up, and I now know where I really am at, so I can go forward from here. And then you drink 2 weeks later, where you fall off the wagon eventually, and then you spiral again, and you hit a worse rock bottom. You go, there, okay. I didn't know. I needed to learn that I'm still vulnerable, and this is never ending. It is a chronic, endless sort of mental affliction. I had to learn that the hard way, but now I can move forward. And then just down the road, you fuck up again, and you're back to the jail cell, or the psych ward, or the streets, or living in your car, or being divorced again, or getting a DUI again, or losing your job again, having to shop out your resume again, and trying to hide out all that time that you missed because you were just literally a drunk. Like, you do all these things over and over again, and you're like, fuck, am I learning anything from this? Like, in a way, addiction is kind of referencing back to the kind of example I used of a long-term relationship that ended poorly, but thinking there's something to be gained from it. It'd be like if you just kept having relationships and they kept ending the exact same way. Like, let's say, like with infidelity, but the infidelity happens the exact same way. There was the exact same signs. It's with the exact same type of person in that person's life. You're insecure about the exact same things, and you feel that it was the fault of the exact same reasons of why the cheating occurred, and you just keep doing it again and again. You're like, no, I'll find the one, and I'll eventually marry him or her, and I need to go through these road bumps to get to the true love of my life, and you just keep doing it again and again, same exact thing. And it could get mentally, emotionally, and spiritually tiring. Now, here's where I know a lot of people where the path kind of diverges a little bit. Where some people have faith in a sort of higher power. You'll see a lot, at least where I'm from, kind of the God in a Judeo-Christian sense. But, you'll find, at least I found, a lot more with the world of recovery that the shackles of religion and that is kind of taken off, and it kind of becomes this more spiritual thing, and people really grasp on just the idea of not religion, spirituality. But the point still being is that there is a faith in some sort of, maybe not even just a deity, but a faith in some sort of design or path that things are going. One of the biggest things that I have contention with, and that really makes recovery so many times in my life difficult, is I do not believe in the saying everything happens for a reason. I mean, if you want to be douchey and super logical about it, I mean, yes, everything does happen for a reason. There's a cause and effect. But in my mind, I don't believe that there is a sort of moral justice in the world, that there is a design for even karma. And I was thinking about even giving examples of why I think this way, but there's no point. It's not because I'm afraid of offending anybody. I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't think that I'm smarter for thinking this way, or I'm more rational, or anything like that. It's just there's an empty spot in my mind where I can buy into the faith, and I have truly tried, and I still search to kind of believe that there is some sort of plan for me. I desperately hope so, because there's so many times I just think about the years and the opportunities wasted. And here's one thing too, is that a lot of people, they'll quantify kind of the extent of their suffering through addiction and alcoholism in just kind of these kind of boilerplate sort of events, or these things, DUIs, divorces, hospital, how many times you got alcohol poisoning, how many jobs you lost, when you got your kids taken away, a lot of these type of things. And just things that you can kind of point to and be like, that sucked really bad, right there sucked really bad. But I think sometimes something that's even missed a lot of times is that there was just the day-to-day misery of it. Just just that your life is just broken and fucking, for lack of a better word, it just fucking blows, man. And you just live your life for so long like that. And when you get into recovery and you're trying to get better, hopefully you don't focus on these sort of things just right from the jump. You just focus on today and getting better just for that day. But when self-reflection begins, there's a part of you that really helps. This all happened for some sort of reason. This is all a part of crafting who I am today and who I will be. And for me, I guess I could say I have trouble believing that, but I wouldn't say I have trouble. That is something, as hard as I try, I can't buy into. And so trying to find meaning within the struggle and suffering is incredibly difficult. And you could make a fair point of dude, fuck the past, this is what you have. You just have today. You don't need to put some narrative on what your life was or what it is. Just today is blank slate. Just go from now. Even if nothing super bad just happened, it's I don't know, day 21 or day 358 or day 2 of your sobriety or clean time. Just blank slate. Just go from here. Who gives a fuck what any of the past, all that stuff, the journey? Who cares? Just start now and go. And that's what I'm trying to work on. And it's much easier said than done. Because there's just at least what I feel is that there's just a natural yearning for things that happened in your life, for the suffering that you've had to matter. That there was a point to it. I mean, this is probably something you could classify more under existential sort of subject matter. It's not just talking about the topic of resentments or, drinking or using dreams or something like that. So, and I apologize if this is kind of a vague topic of, I don't know, no certainty to it. It's something that I've felt, and it's something I've struggled with for a long time, where I know it's probably something I just need to not pay attention to anymore, but for everything that I had lost, I hope there was at least a reason for it. And sometimes you don't get that. And those are parts of life that really suck. I'll give you just a quick example. So there was one time I bought one of my coworkers these concert tickets. And I got her email, and it was this really nice surprise present thing I was doing for her because she helped me out in these past endeavors, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they were expensive concert tickets, and I bought them for her, and I just needed her email. I just needed to get her email so it could still be a surprise so the tickets could be sent through to her email, like through Ticketmaster or whatever. And she gave me the email, and I sent them, and I was just kind of waiting day after day, like she's going to freak out, and she's going to be so excited. And it wasn't happening. And then I went back and I was like, well, hey, and talked to the Ticketmaster people. And I was like, what the fuck's going on with the tickets? And they're like, dude, they were totally sent. Well, what happened is that when she sent me her email address, instead of what I thought was a 3 was supposed to be an 8, kind of in that way that if they connect, I don't know. The point is, it was just one character off, one numeric thing off. But it caused a fucking shitstorm in my life. Trying to get these things returned and then resent. And there was this stupid thing about I don't know, some scam they were worried about of getting other emails and sending another ticket with the barcode and just all this shit. I mean, it was honestly just a nightmare. And I was trying to do this in a timely manner. And again, this was all supposed to be a nice surprise where I can do something, feel good about myself, and make her year, and it then turned into this shit sandwich and just waiting on the phone and waiting for emails, and just it was so stressful and frustrating. And the thing that just kept dwelling in my head and that pissed me off so much was I was like, this is so fucking stupid, because it was just one click. It was just one number I was off. Just one number. There's nothing to learn from this. There's no reason I can go, well, I'll know next time. No, I was just typing, and it just happens once in a while where I just read something wrong and put the wrong, just this stupid inconsequential thing that happened that caused all this shit. The more that the shit storm kept raining, I just kept thinking about this. Jesus, if I would have just put that one number, god damn it. And I mean, it wasn't just annoying because of that one tiny mistake. It was just because, this all happened just for this one fucking stupid thing. All this stress that is in my life now is so pointless. And I think about how much even that tiny stupid ticket ordeal, how much that pained me. And that's nothing compared to when I think that I hate to keep using this word, but just the suffering of drinking, being an alcoholic, and the ways that I hurt myself, also the ways I hurt other people. And, you talk about the time loss, and again, the opportunities lost, and the friends and the people in your life, that some bridges you didn't burn, but you forgot where the fuck on the map they even are. They're gone. They got demolished years ago. And just reconnections that will never be made, and just all this shit. And when you relapse after some time, you'll go, fuck. I thought this was the person I was supposed to be, and all that stuff was leading me to be this person, and now I'm back here again. What was the point? What is the point to all this? And, I'd like to give you some thesis. There may be a lot of you out there that are just like, I don't fucking think about that at all. Or I have faith in the plan of my higher power being sort of thing, and it's you don't worry about it. Or you do, but there's a struggle of faith, and eventually you come to accept it. That's one thing I need to do, regardless of what I believe in the world or anything, is just accepting just what happened. Maybe no point to it at all. No sort of meaning you can extract and make the story of your life make sense. Because for the most part, alcoholism, addiction, none of this shit makes sense. But it's hard just to accept and move on when this affliction takes so much out of you. Anyways, do with that what you will. This is more of a kind of personal one-on-one sort of topic discussion, whatever you want to call it. I will keep doing mental health and addiction and alcoholism focused ones. I hope you liked some of the mental health ones too, or I don't know if you just want straight on, substance abuse. I'm going to do them both, but, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you listening. If you made it through this whole sort of diary-esque slog, and I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you find meaning in your struggle, and I hope you find happiness in your life. Thank you.